Now this next part is very important. I'm not going to do all of it, but I'll show you how it's done. If you happen to take off this oil tank and clean it, or cut it loose from the engine, that means it's got air in it and you'll have to bleed it. And this is genuine Honda 2-stroke, and it says injector premix oil. So you want to use injector oil. And what I'll do is I'll put some in the tank right here, and what that will do is go down through this line right here, goes down right alongside the fuel line and over to here, and then it hooks up with this little smooth line that goes right into the oil pump. Now this top line goes right into the carburetor. So the bottom line, if you follow it, will go right over to the oil pump, which is right here. I don't know if I can lift that up. The oil pump is controlled by a cable that comes from the carburetor, or excuse me, there's a splice, and one cable goes to the oil pump and the other goes to the carb. What happens is, as you can see, the oil pump has a wire down here, and that connects to a valve. The more the engine is revved, the oil pump opens correspondingly, or the line pulls up, and what that does is open the flow so that your oil will come out of the pump with this shiny line and go right into the intake. Your carburetor is right here, your intake is right under this plate, and it goes right into the cylinder. Now on some of these models, this intake line for the oil pump will go directly into the top of the carb, or somewhere in the carb. It really doesn't matter as long as it gets in there. This is, if you look very closely, right down there you see the smooth line that goes into the pump, and the pump is, it has a little 3-inch spline shaft that runs down into the crankcase, and that connects to the crankshaft, and that the crankshaft runs this. It puts out a very little amount of oil, but the trick is, if this line has air in it, then the little shaft is going to turn, the little pump is going to turn, but nothing's going to come out because it's just air. So what we have to do is get the oil from the tank, make sure it goes all the way down the lines over here, and then come in through the bottom into the intake of the pump. Then we have to make sure that there's no air in there, so that all it has is oil in there, and it will push the oil very well, but it has the oil to be pushed. Now what I'll do is I will take this intake line off right here, off the intake. Then what I'll do is I'll pry open this small shaft right here all the way full open. Let's see if I can do it here. You'll see. See, that's what the me doing this on the hand. But if you go all the way open, like WFO, okay, that pump's all the way open. Also, the carburetor's all the way open. Both lines correspond, do the same thing. What I will do is pry that open right there, and then I'll take off this line right here after I've got some oil in here. Then what I will do is I will take this syringe, which comes from this is a windshield syringe, something like that. But anyway, I'll hook that nipple right there up to the end of this line right here, and I will pull back on the handle, and what I'm going to attempt to do is I will suck the oil from the tank all the way down the lines, all the way back up in here, and I will suck all the air out first, and I won't stop until I get oil coming into this transparent syringe. After I do that, then I will know that this pump right in here, it's just a little simple little thing. It's what they use on all the little Honda scooters. The first ones were electric, but these are mechanically driven off the crankshaft. It puts out a very tiny bit of oil, just little tiny dots of it. But it has to have oil in the pump. It has to be primed. It has to be sitting and steeped in oil, or else it won't work. So that's what you need to do if you ever have a leak. And then of course, while you're down there, you want to look around and say to yourself, okay, if there's any oil leaks are good for one thing, is dust will gather all over them. And you can tell if you got a leak somewhere. Now I look over here and I go, well, do I got a leak anywhere? And to tell you the truth, what I've done is I've really soaked the air cleaner really well right here, and it's just kind of got hot over the summer and come out right over here by the carb. But both the oil pump line and the carb line, they both go to the throttle right up here, this throttle, and they work the same way. It's very simple. Anyway, I'm going to do that, but I can't do it one-handed.